opening film is called The Envelope, a film produced by Grace Lerner Films. So for the MPA age rating, I believe that my 2-minute opening film, The Envelope, would be rated PG-13, and this is due to some violence throughout the movie, as well as gore and gory images and some explicit language. Although there isn't very much and most commonly explicit language and no nudity or anything like that, making me believe that it's not going to be rated R-rated and it's rather going to be PG-13, which also will help me reach a wider audience. So the production company of this film is Grace Lerner Films, which is named after my own name. And this is in a very basic manner, which was on purpose, as it will help build a strong identity within my film and future productions. And on this slide, you can see I made a logo for my film. Very basic, it gets straight to the point, and it will help have me have a strong identity and connection within the films and other productions. So my film does have an establishing shot, and this establishing shot is in the very first couple seconds of the film. And I did this so it was just a time where it could show the title of the film, The Envelope, and it leans into the horror genre, as this establishing shot shows that the movie is taking place in a trail outdoor area, which through a survey I conducted shows that my target audience expects to see in horror films a outdoor, isolated, creepy, foresty area, which helps to lean into that horror genre. So the genre was signaled through the mise-en-scène, and the mise-en-scène was very specific to the horror genre. To begin with, the orange clothing of my protagonist used color symbolism, as I researched that the color orange represents the feeling of anxiety and anxiousness. And this is a perfect fit for the protagonist to wear, as the protagonist grows anxious and anxiety throughout the first 2 minutes of the opening film. And through a survey I took place, I found that the target audience of horror films, especially the one that I created, expect to feel anxious while watching horror films. So this created that genre and signaled that this film is a horror film. Also, the black clothing on the mysterious figure and person running throughout the trails is another mise-en-scène that is also a stereotype of the antagonist wearing black, which symbolizes mystery, danger, and evil. And this also signifies that it's a horror genre. As well as the lighting. In the beginning, it's a very bright lighting, which represents the early morning, and this adds to the setting of an isolated outdoor area, which is commonly found and expected in horror films. And throughout the setting, we made sure to put leaves on the ground in certain areas that we were filming, especially when we had close-ups of the feet, because this also creates that crunch sound that is signalizing something creepy, something mysterious, which is found in horror films. And the narrative of characters leans into the stereotypes. The main stereotype being the main/the final girl, who is a teenager, who's the protagonist. And this is a very stereotype in horror films, where the main girl being stalked, especially in the beginning of a film, is a girl alone, usually teenager, pretty. So this is also helping show the narrative of the main character being a stereotype, as well as that antagonist being a tall figure, all in black, that's unknown, is also a very big stereotype. And that relationship between the two is shown as the main character is confused and scared and runs away in the beginning, where the person in all black is kind of in the background, showing that it is an antagonist, and that is the relationship between the two. So the actors that were played were Kylie Balzan, who played the main character, the main girl in the beginning, the protagonist. And her name in the very beginning of the 2 minutes isn't revealed, but it is Bella in the movie, which will be developed on later throughout those 2 minutes. And this relationship and the role played is very clear, as it shows as the protagonist is the main character. She takes up most screen time and most of the dialogue in the opening, and the camera and frame really focuses in on her. Then our antagonist was played by Carson Balzan, and he played Chase as the friend in the end of the 2 minutes that Bella comes and shows that envelope to. And it is later revealed in the film that this character, Chase, is actually the antagonist, the guy dressed in all black in the forest. So this relationship is also shown. And Karen Hong also played a role in the future film, which is just another side character, one of their friends who gets killed early on in the film. So the musical soundtrack plays a big role in the beginning 2 minutes of the film. So the first music that you really hear is a pop sound music playlist that is played when the main character protagonist puts on her headphones and starts to run. And this leans away from the horror genre, as I wanted to create a sharp contrast and a sharp sudden suspense mood and tone that is resembled within the film's world, the protagonist's feelings, and onto the audience. So in the beginning, it's a pump playlist, like acting like nothing's wrong, just a normal run, just everyday life. And then when that pop playlist stops, that's when the music fades out and the sound of twigs snapping, rustling in the branches, and then the bushes starts to be inserted, and this leans back into the horror genre, adds mysterious and a feeling of scared. And this also helps to create a sharp contrast that shows that the character's mood is being sharply contrasted into normal everyday run to now scared, what's happening, anxious, which is the tone I want and the mood I want to express and play not only in the film's world but also to the audience. So the credits. So overall in the first 2 minutes there are 7 credits, which appear in the order of written by, director, producer, and then followed by the main actors in the film in order of their roles. So Kylie Balzan is shown first, as she's the protagonist, and then Carson Balzan, and he is the antagonist, so he has a major role as well, and then as Karen Hong as the side character. And the title is shown in the establishing shot with a almost written smudge font that helps to show that it's a horror film and makes it create a kind of like eerie font. And this font is going to be later on used as the writing within the envelope that the main character finds. So it kind of connects it all together and creates that horror genre again. So the hook. So we created a hook in the very beginning, and the main hook is when the antagonist steps in front of the camera while the main character protagonist is found scared and runs away. So her back is facing away from the camera and from the antagonist, and this creates a hook into the film, showing the audience that this black mysterious figure is stalking this girl, and this will become a major conflict throughout the film. So social groups that I have displayed in the film are teenagers around the age of 17 and 18 in high school, and this is where both the protagonist and antagonist and side characters are at that age. And the main character usually is a young, pretty female girl, and the antagonist is around that same age as the girl and is a male, and the protagonist is a female. So issues presented. So the main issues I presented were kidnapping and stalking, as that main character is being stalked throughout the trail by this shadowy antagonist figure, and also kidnapping could later play a role within the film. And so how are these issues being presented through the film? Well, this is being presented as the main character's actions start out as acting normal until she starts to feel paranoid as if someone is following her. And throughout the production, through low angles, mid shots, dialogue, and her sudden scared actions, this is further developed, and as well as sounds of rustling and mysterious sounds where she doesn't know where it's coming from, show that she thinks she's being watched, and major issues are stalking and kidnapping of teenage girls.